My name is Reagan, and I never thought taking home a discarded baby stroller would change my entire life. But that's exactly what happened on a Tuesday afternoon that started like any other. I was walking home from the grocery store when I saw her, Victoria Ashford, the kind of woman who wore designer sunglasses to take out the trash. She was standing next to a dumpster behind an upscale shopping center, shoving a pristine baby stroller into the garbage. "Excuse me," I called out, "are you throwing that away?" She turned, her face tight with irritation. "Obviously, why else would I be at a dumpster?" "It looks brand new," I said, approaching carefully. "If you don't want it, I could use it. My sister just had a baby." Victoria's eyes narrowed as she looked me up and down. "Take it, I don't care." She pulled off her gloves, actual gloves for touching a dumpster, and started walking toward her Mercedes. "Wait," I said. "Is there something wrong with it? Why are you getting rid of it?" She paused and turned back. "Does it matter? I'm throwing it away. That means I don't want it. Are you going to take it or stand there asking questions?" "I'm taking it," I said quickly. "Thank you." "Don't thank me," Victoria said coldly. "I'm not doing you a favor. I'm disposing of trash." She got into her car and drove away without another glance. I pulled the stroller out, confused why anyone would trash something so expensive. It was a top-of-the-line model, easily worth $1,000. The fabric was perfect, the wheels pristine. That evening, I brought it into my apartment and started examining it more closely. I called my sister Emma first. "Emma, you won't believe what I found today," I said. "What?" she asked. "A brand new baby stroller. Some rich woman was literally throwing it in a dumpster." "That's weird," Emma said. "Why would anyone do that?" "I have no idea, but I'm checking it out now. If it's good, it's yours." That's when I noticed the storage compartment underneath felt heavier than it should. My hands shook as I unzipped it. Inside was a manila envelope stuffed with documents. As I spread them across my kitchen table, my blood ran cold. These weren't just any papers. They were legal documents, bank statements, and contracts. And my mother's name was on every single one. My mother had died 6 months ago. Before her death, she'd told me about a business investment that went wrong, how she'd lost her entire retirement savings of $200,000 to a trusted financial advisor. She'd been devastated, broken. That stress had contributed to her heart attack. The financial advisor's name was on these documents, Victoria Ashford. But these papers told a different story than the one Victoria had fed my mother. There were forged signatures, falsified investment reports, and bank transfers showing Victoria had simply stolen the money and deposited it into her personal accounts. She'd never invested a dime. I grabbed my phone with trembling hands and called my older brother Marcus. "Marcus, you need to come over right now," I said. "Reagan, what's wrong? You sound weird." "Just get here, please. It's about Mom." "About Mom? What do you mean?" "I can't explain over the phone. Please, just come." 20 minutes later, Marcus was standing in my living room, staring at the documents spread across my coffee table. "This is impossible," he whispered. "This Victoria Ashford woman, she stole everything from Mom?" "Every penny," I said, and she threw away the evidence like it was trash. She thought she was getting rid of it, but she gave me the ammunition to destroy her. Marcus picked up a bank statement. "This shows the exact date Mom wrote her that check, $200,000 deposited into Victoria's personal account, not any investment fund." "Look at this," I said, pointing to another document. "Mom's signature on this investment contract? It's forged. I can tell because Mom always made her R with a specific loop. This signature is different." "She murdered our mother," Marcus said, his voice breaking. "Maybe not directly, but that stress, that heartbreak, it killed her, Reagan." "I know," I whispered. "I remember Mom crying, saying she'd failed us, that she'd lost everything we'd inherit. She died thinking she'd made a terrible mistake, but it wasn't her mistake. Victoria Ashford stole from her and let her die in shame." "What do you want to do?" he asked. I looked at my brother. "I want justice. I want her to pay for what she did, and I want every dollar back." "Then we need a lawyer," Marcus said. "A really good one." "I know," I replied, "and we need to do this right. No mistakes. Victoria Ashford is about to learn that some people fight back." The next morning, Marcus and I sat in the office of Janet Reeves, a lawyer who specialized in financial fraud cases. "This is extraordinary," Janet said, examining the documents. "Mrs. Ashford literally handed you a complete paper trail of her crime." "Can we win?" I asked. "Win?" Reagan, this is the most open and shut case I've seen in 20 years. These documents prove intent to defraud, theft, forgery, and wire fraud. She's looking at federal charges. Marcus leaned forward. What's our first move? We need to secure all evidence and get it to the authorities, Janet said. But first I want to bring in David Chen. He's a forensic accountant who works with the FBI on cases like this. How long will this take? I asked. If we move fast and the evidence holds up, which it will, we could have her arrested within weeks, Janet said. But I need to warn you both. This will be emotionally draining. You'll have to relive your mother's final months repeatedly. I don't care, I said. Whatever it takes. 2 days later, we met with David in Janet's conference room. I've traced Victoria Ashford's financial history, David explained, spreading printouts across the table. Your mother wasn't her only victim. I found at least 6 other clients she defrauded over the past 5 years. Total theft, $1.2 million. I felt sick. She's been doing this for years? Yes, David confirmed. She targets older individuals, gains their trust, then steals their retirement savings. Your mother's case fits her exact pattern. How did she get away with it? Marcus asked. She's careful, David said. She usually destroys evidence, moves money through shell companies, and her victims often die before they can pursue legal action. Your mother's death was convenient for her. That's why she threw away those documents, I realized. 6 months after Mom died, she thought she was safe. She was cleaning house. Janet nodded. Her arrogance is going to be her downfall. David, can you document everything for the FBI? Already done, he said. I have a contact at the Bureau who handles white-collar crime. Special Agent Morrison is expecting your call. What should we expect from the FBI? I asked. They'll want detailed statements from both of you, David said. They'll verify every document, trace every transaction. It's thorough but necessary. We're ready, Marcus said firmly. The next day, I sat across from FBI Special Agent Karen Morrison in a federal building downtown. Miss Reagan, thank you for bringing this forward, Agent Morrison said. We've been watching Victoria Ashford for 8 months. We suspected she was defrauding clients, but we couldn't prove it. These documents are exactly what we needed. You've been investigating her? I asked, surprised. Yes, a family member of another victim came to us last year, but they had no concrete evidence. We've been trying to build a case, but Victoria is meticulous about covering her tracks. Until now, I said. Until now, Agent Morrison agreed. What happens next is we build an airtight case. I'll need you to provide a full statement. We'll also contact the other victims' families. With your evidence and our investigation, we can arrest her within 2 weeks. 2 weeks? I couldn't hide my frustration. We need to be thorough, Agent Morrison said gently. But I promise you Victoria Ashford will face justice. Federal wire fraud carries a maximum sentence of 20 years per count. She's committed at least 7 counts that we can prove. Will she go to prison? I asked. If convicted, absolutely, Agent Morrison said. With evidence this strong, I'd be shocked if she didn't. We're talking years, Reagan, possibly decades. Good, I said. I want to be there when you arrest her. Agent Morrison smiled. I think we can arrange that. Marcus put his hand on my shoulder. Mom would be proud of you. I'm not doing this just for Mom, I said. I'm doing it for every person Victoria Ashford ever hurt. She needs to know that her victims fought back. 2 weeks later, I stood outside Victoria Ashford's mansion with Agent Morrison and 3 other FBI agents. My heart was pounding. Ready? Agent Morrison asked. I nodded. Let's do this. Agent Morrison rang the doorbell. Victoria opened the door in a silk robe, coffee cup in hand. When she saw me, her face went white. You, she whispered. Hello, Victoria, I said. Remember me? From the dumpster? What is this? Victoria demanded, her voice rising. Who are these people? Agent Morrison held up her badge. FBI, Victoria Ashford, you're under arrest for wire fraud, theft, forgery, and conspiracy to defraud. This is ridiculous, Victoria shrieked. I haven't done anything. That's interesting, I said, because I have documents that say otherwise. The ones you threw away in that baby stroller? Yeah, I found those. Victoria's face went from white to red. You had no right to go through my garbage. Actually, I had every right, Agent Morrison said. Once you discard something, it's public property. And those documents prove you defrauded at least 7 people, including Reagan's mother, of over $1 million. Those documents are private, Victoria yelled. This is illegal search and seizure. No, Mrs. Ashford, Agent Morrison said calmly. You threw them away. You abandoned them. That makes them fair game. I want my lawyer, Victoria snapped. You'll get one, Agent Morrison said, putting handcuffs on her. You're going to need a very good one. As they led Victoria to the car, her husband Richard appeared in the doorway. Victoria, what's happening? Your wife is a thief and a fraud, I said, unable to contain my anger. She stole my mother's entire retirement savings and let her die thinking she'd made a bad investment. She's been doing it for years. Richard's face crumbled. No, that's not possible. Victoria helps people. She's a financial advisor. She's a con artist, Marcus said, stepping forward. She steals from elderly people and destroys evidence. Our mother died 6 months ago, heartbroken, thinking she'd lost her money through a bad investment. But Victoria never invested it. She stole it. It's very possible, Agent Morrison said to Richard. Mr. Ashford, we'll need to speak with you as well. Victoria was screaming from the back of the FBI car. This is a mistake. You can't prove anything. I walked to the car window. Actually, Victoria, we can prove everything. Every forged signature, every fake investment report, every stolen dollar. You were so confident you'd gotten away with it that you threw away the evidence. That was your biggest mistake. Your mother signed those documents willingly, Victoria yelled, her face pressed against the window. My mother signed documents believing you were investing her money, I said coldly. Instead, you deposited it straight into your personal account. That's called theft, and the FBI has the bank records to prove it. She wanted high returns. I gave her what she wanted. You gave her lies, I said. You gave her fake statements while you spent her money on designer clothes and luxury cars. And when she died, you thought you'd gotten away with it. Agent Morrison stepped between us. That's enough. Miss Reagan, we'll be in touch about the trial. I watched as they drove Victoria away, her perfect life crumbling just like she'd destroyed my mother's. Marcus appeared beside me. It's over. No, I said. It's just beginning. Now comes the trial. Now she has to face every person she's hurt. 3 months later, I sat in federal court as the judge read Victoria's sentence. Mrs. Ashford, you have been found guilty on all counts. 7 counts of wire fraud, 7 counts of theft, and 3 counts of forgery. The court sentences you to 18 years in federal prison and orders you to pay restitution of $1.2 million to your victims' families. I watched Victoria's face collapse. Her lawyer had tried everything, claiming the documents were fabricated, that her victims had willingly invested, that she was being persecuted. None of it worked. The evidence was overwhelming. Your Honor, please, Victoria's lawyer said, standing. My client has no prior criminal record. She has a family, a reputation in the community. A reputation built on fraud, the judge interrupted. Mrs. Ashford preyed on vulnerable elderly individuals, stole their life savings, and showed no remorse until she was caught. This court finds her actions despicable and deserving of the maximum sentence. Outside the courtroom, Janet approached me with a check. Reagan, this is your mother's money, she said. All $200,000 plus interest and court-ordered damages. Total $275,000. I stared at the check, tears streaming down my face. I can't believe it's over. You did this, Janet said. You found the evidence, you pursued justice, and you won. Marcus hugged me. Mom would be so proud. Victoria tried to call me yesterday, I said, from jail. She wanted to apologize, wanted to explain herself, wanted me to write a letter to the judge asking for mercy. What did you tell her? Marcus asked. I told her that mercy is for people who show remorse before they're caught, not after. I told her that my mother died believing she'd failed, that Victoria's theft had broken her spirit and her heart. I told her that 18 years isn't enough, but it'll have to do. What did she say? Janet asked. She cried. She said she never meant to hurt anyone, that it just got out of control. She said she needed the money for her lifestyle, that her husband didn't earn enough. That's not an excuse, Marcus said angrily. I know, I replied. I told her that too. I told her that her designer clothes and luxury cars were purchased with my mother's blood, that every time she drove her Mercedes, she was driving over my mother's grave. Janet smiled grimly. Good. Some people don't deserve forgiveness. She asked if I'd ever forgive her, I continued. I told her no, never. Some betrayals are unforgivable, and stealing from dying people definitely qualifies. Agent Morrison joined us on the courthouse steps. Miss Reagan, I wanted to thank you personally. Because of your evidence, we've identified 3 additional victims. Their families are pursuing charges as well. How many people did she hurt? I asked. At least 10 that we know of, Agent Morrison said. Maybe more. But they're all getting justice now because of you. Will she serve the full 18 years? Marcus asked. Most likely, Agent Morrison said. Federal sentences require serving at least 85% of the time. She'll be in prison for at least 15 years. By the time she gets out, she'll be in her 60s, bankrupt, and with a felony record. Her life as she knew it is over. I looked up at the courthouse, thinking about my mother, about all of Victoria's victims, about the lives she'd destroyed out of pure greed. My mother always taught me that doing the right thing matters, I said, even when it's hard, even when it hurts. She taught me that justice isn't about revenge, it's about accountability. Victoria Ashford is finally being held accountable. Marcus squeezed my hand. What are you going to do with Mom's money? I'm going to donate half to an organization that helps fraud victims, I said. And I'm going to use the other half to finish my degree. Mom always wanted me to graduate. She'd love that, Marcus said. And I'm going to volunteer, I added. I want to help other people who've been victimized by financial fraud. I want to make sure they know they're not alone, that they can fight back. I looked at the group of people who'd helped me. Janet, David, Agent Morrison, my brother. I couldn't have done this alone. Thank you all for believing me, for fighting for my mother's memory, for making sure Victoria Ashford couldn't hurt anyone else. You did the hard part, Janet said. You had the courage to fight back. As we walked away from the courthouse, I felt lighter than I had in months. Victoria Ashford was in prison, my mother's money was recovered, and other victims were getting justice. It wasn't about revenge. It was about making sure that criminals face consequences, that victims aren't forgotten, and that justice, however delayed, eventually prevails. Have you ever discovered evidence of someone's wrongdoing by accident? What would you have done if you'd found those documents in that stroller? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.